How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone.
Marky got with Sharon, Sharon got Sharia. She was sharing Sharon's outlook on the topic of disease. Mikey had a facial scar and Bobby was a racist. They were all in love with dying, they were doing it in Texas. Tommy played piano like a kid out in the rain, and then he lost his leg in Dallas. He was dancing with the train. They were all in love with dying, they were drinking from a fountain that was pouring like an avalanche coming down the mountain.
I don't mind the sun sometimes, the images it shows. I can taste you on my lips and smell you in my clothes.
Who is that? There's like a really absurd person posing as like a genius who was one of the leader. There are probably a bunch of, but who's the most famous one?
Oh, like Richard Dawkins or Daniel Dennett or Christopher Hitchens.
I knew Hitchens well.
Okay.
He was a marvelous guy,
Yeah,
but
he was
totally
an interesting
wrong on
man.
this.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
legit smart.
Yeah.
No, there's another one, whatever, who's always running
Or
around.
like today, like James Lindsay is one of those types. Is that
Who's James Lindsay?
Who's James Lindsay? Tucker Carlson. Who is James Lindsay indeed? You know, the timing of that clip could not have been more perfect because I've been telling people the war with James is over. It's over. We won, James lost. James is now just a laughingstock online. He has a core group of supporters that will just sycophantically support anything he says and does. There's a weird classical liberal alliance that's developing around this whole woke right bullshit, and it's just like, it's so telling the people that are getting sucked into it. Like Eric Weinstein over the weekend. Eric Weinstein was like, James Lindsay was right. I was like, oh, Eric Weinstein, you're a moron. And then I was so disappointed in Melissa Chen. Melissa Chen is like, yes, I'm starting to see James's point. And I was like, Melissa, you are smarter than this. I genuinely like Melissa Chen, okay? I do. I don't want to shit talk Melissa Chen. But like when I saw Melissa Chen agreeing with James, I was like, no. Woman moment. No. What can you do though? What can you do? You can't. You know, here's what I've learned from being online in this space for like 5 years now. Like, people are going to do stupid things and people are going to form these coalitions around each other that aren't based in truth. They aren't based in reality. They aren't based in what is good and right for everyone else. It's only based in who can help me be famous and who can help me get clout and who do I need to suck up to get what I want at any given moment. And it's just like, yo, this is not real. Don't pretend to be an intellectual if you are just completely and totally unhinged from all reality. But people are going to do what they're going to do. And there ain't nothing we can do about it. And so what we do in these moments is we laugh. We laugh. Because you have to take what you can get in this crazy fucked up world. And then we move on. And I'm really excited because I do have a very special announcement with which to start the show today. And I'm excited about this, and I hope that you guys will be excited about this. You know, there's always been a method to my madness in terms of I throw a lot of stuff at the wall. And sometimes the things that I throw at the wall, sometimes it might seem like they're disjointed and that I'm being all over the place and that there's no order to what I'm doing and I'm just throwing. But that's not actually the case. There is indeed a method to my madness. And the method of my madness has been building for several years now to reach the culminating point which we are reaching today. And the reason I bring this up, I mean, it's just actually perfect timing. I was going to do this today anyway, but it is actually perfect timing with the Tucker Carlson clip where Tucker Carlson is basically ragging on James Lindsay because James Lindsay is acting like an unhinged moron. The reality is, guys, if we had not won the war with James Lindsay, you know, this might not be happening right now because that was a strategic battle in the overall fight. Because as you know, for the last several months, my Substack has been named the Better Discourses Substack. I've had an account on Twitter, the Better Discourses Twitter account. And we've been putting all sorts of stuff out there under Better Discourses, the whole thing being that James Lindsay's website is called New Discourses. We think James's analysis of the far left sucks. And so we created something better. And that alongside with going to streams where James was answering questions and asking him questions he didn't want to answer. This was all the war with James Lindsay. Just a slow kind of drip, kind of Chinese water torture in order to provoke James enough with facing the reality that he is completely unhinged from what the left is doing, that he would slowly drive himself insane. And we did it. We did it. We won, James lost. The demand that we made when we started the war with James Lindsay was, James, you're going to stop misinforming people about the left. This is going to stop because I'm going to take you guys back to like September of 2023, which is when this all really started, maybe even a little bit earlier than that, but it was around that time period. Seems like forever ago now. It's 2025. Can you guys believe that? We were doing this since 2023. What would happen is that we would get all sorts of people coming into my audience from James Lindsay's audience, and universally those people would be so confused and they wouldn't know anything and they would think that the left was all about Gnosticism or some crazy thing that James was pitching at the time. And we would have to slowly unteach those people of everything James has taught them and hinge them back into reality. And the smart people showed up and they got it right away. We actually have had many people from James's audience come over and watch my content, and they watch like 2 or 3 shows and they're like, oh, this makes so much more sense. Oh, I totally get it now. And there have been so many, I can't even tell you, so many people throughout the years that this has happened to. And so the war with James Lindsay started actually from a place of intellectual honesty and integrity to say, listen, bro, you have to stop lying to the public. And that was a big problem to get over because there were so many people being misinformed by what James was saying that it was like near dang impossible to teach people about the left. People that have been watching my content for that long, you know how frustrated I was at this. I was threatening to quit all the time. I was angry all the time. I was like, I don't know how I can exist in this environment where we have this person that is just lying to millions of people and they have no other source. And how do I get in front of them? Well, the way I got in front of them was to go to war with James. And so we started the war with James. We executed the war with James. We made our demands, which was that James was going to stop lying to people. And I would have settled for James telling the truth. I really would have. I would have settled for James just correctly informing his audience, hey guys, it's all about abolishing capitalism, and here's the way. Whiteness is about abolishing capitalism, and gender is about abolishing capitalism, and queer is about abolishing capitalism, and climate change is about abolishing capitalism, and abolish the police is about abolishing capitalism, and the pro-Palestine protests are about abolishing capitalism, and it's all about abolishing capitalism, and you need to know that. This is why we were saying, say capitalism, say capitalism, say capitalism so much to James over and over and over and over and over again. Well, James decided to double down, though, and he just got more and more and more and more and more insane. And now, James doesn't even talk about the left anymore. Hey, you know what? Good enough for me. Good enough for me. All I wanted was for people to stop being misinformed. If James stops teaching about the left entirely because he wants to talk about how he's surrounded by Nazis all day, every day, that is his prerogative, and that is good enough for me. So, I am declaring the war with James over, and we are transitioning better discourses. We are transitioning. We are evolving. We are growing into something greater that I'm very, very, very excited about. I want to just take these two chats. Hal, good to see you. Carlin speaks the truth. She once supported James. I remember that. I did support James. James used to be good. And I will never take this back. I will never be one of those people that's like, James sucked and he always sucked. And I will never do that. In 2019 and 2020 and in 2021, James was awesome. James was out there hustling more than anyone else. He was creating more content than anyone else. I really did believe that if people fought as hard as James Lindsay was fighting in 20 and 2021, that we would be in a very different place. And I will never take back the positive influence that James did have on me and on many of us in terms of getting us interested in this topic, kind of like shining a light that got us guided on the right path. But at some point, we all have to acknowledge that all idols have clay feet, and he fell. And I stopped listening to him in the middle of 2021 because I was doing other things and I wanted to be able to just come to my own conclusions, and I didn't want to be influenced by him, so I just stopped listening to him. And then when I started listening to him again, I was like, oh my God, this is completely unhinged. So, yeah, there was a time when I did, and that time passed. Chris says, I came from James Lindsay. He was never giving any actual answers to anything. I went searching for someone else, and here I am. I looked pretty hard, too. You are the only one doing this shit. Don't I know it, Chris? Don't I know it? And that's going to be why we're moving on and we're evolving, because more people need to be involved in this. Trendolin, thank you for being a member of the channel for 28 months. Can we watch the Porn is Bad video? Maybe, Trendolin. But if not today, I'll watch it this week sometime. I promise. Jane says, I was so confused back then, desperately trying to make sense of the world. James just confused me more once I found your channel. Hey, Jane, I'm glad that you made your way over. Yeah, social media comment section says, I even got James to start talking about the truth about capitalism. Do you guys remember that mysteriously James started using the word capitalism and started writing threads about capitalism once we started pressuring him? Yep, we did that. We did that. Sam says, I remember the stages of grief we sped run during that live stream as we realized how bad he had gotten. Yep, it's so true. It's so true. So, the war with James is concluded. We no longer need the Better Discourses name because I don't even really like that name anyway. Like, it's funny in relation to New Discourses. That's what made it funny, right? But we can do better. And not only are we getting a new name, we are getting just a completely honed in strategy that is going to bring everything that I've been building, that you guys have been helping me build for the last several years. We're bringing it into focus, and I think we're going to end up making it much more actionable. So I want to introduce everyone to Decode the Left. And Decode the Left is not just the new name of my main Substack, which is Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. You can see it's Decode the Left with me. Decode the Left is also a platform, and even fingers crossed, hopefully a business. Because I come from the world of consulting. Before I got into all this politics stuff, I built a consulting business. I built an industrial organizational psychology consulting business. I was one of those corporate trainers that went around and did the corporate training. I never did diversity training. I did communication training. I did mindfulness training. I did all sorts of stuff. I worked with boards at companies in higher education. I worked with all sorts of executive teams. I did performance coaching. I did executive coaching. I did all this stuff, and I built my own consulting company. So I've been thinking about this a lot recently. And, the thing is that over the last several years of us doing this content, this may not have been the intention when we started doing this, but this is the outcome of us doing this. We have amassed a massive archive of this content. We have developed a community of people that is not only interested in this content just from like a nice to know perspective, but that are actually really into doing crowdsourced citizen journalism on this topic. We do research, we dig up stuff no one else on the internet has ever seen. We follow these groups, we know who they are, we know who the activists are. I have gone undercover multiple times at multiple far left events. We have infiltrated more leftist trainings online than I think any other group on the internet. We have a massive, massive, massive archive of their zines and their propaganda. We are building out our Discord to be able to utilize that archive. We have more of this information, I'm pretty sure, than anyone else on the internet. And we have a lot of things in place to be able to organize this information, find this information, and make this information usable. So, I am launching Decode the Left as a business where my hope is that I'm going to go out and partner with different sorts of people. I want to partner with people in the media, commentators, pundits, that actually want to bring this information to their audience. I haven't done a good job of that. I mean, let's just be honest for a second. One of the things that I have not done a good job with is being proactive about outreach to different people in the media, different pundits, different commentators. Part of the reason for that is I was completely blackpilled on the whole thing. I was like, conservative commentators just lie to their audiences. They aren't interested. And I do think that that is true. I do think a lot of conservative commentators are bought and sold. But you know what? There are all these new people that have been coming up recently that are getting really, really, really popular. And guess what? I do actually have good relationships with some of those people. And so maybe this is a turning point where we can go back out, get on these shows, talk about these issues, provide this type of analysis, help them understand this, because a lot of these people don't have time to sit down and understand this like we do. It's not that they want to lie to their audiences, it's just that they don't have the information to be able to share it with them. So can we come up with a way to get them that information? So media, journalists, pundits, commentators, that's one section of this. Another section of this is I want to reach out and do intelligence and advising to things like political candidates, political groups, people who need to deal with the left, colleges and universities. I worked in higher education for 10 years. I'm very familiar with the college and university system. I'm very familiar with all the groups protesting on those campuses now. What do college administrators need to know to be able to manage the leftists on their own campus? Because a lot of them are not doing a very good job. And the reason they're not doing a very good job is they don't understand what they're dealing with. How about organizations like, again, colleges and universities with these Trump executive orders? There's going to be a lot of colleges and universities that don't know how to comply with these executive orders because the people working at the colleges and universities have been sneaky about the language. So how can we help these places come into compliance? How can we help school administrators understand what they're dealing with? How can we help local Republican groups, local community groups, church groups, any of these people understand what's going on around them? One of the ways that I made a lot of money before the pandemic, when I was doing industrial organizational psychology full time, was keynote speaking, training, virtual training, in-person training. And so, there are all sorts of groups out there that want to hear about this stuff, that want to hear about the undercover work I've done, that want to watch all the videos, all the crazy videos that we've amassed. Okay. So here is my vision for Decode the Left. I want to start going out and doing more consulting and advising and speaking in this area. This has been something I've wanted to do for a while, and now I feel like I'm in a really good place to do it. I also want to maintain the community that we're building. That is very important to me. We have a great community of people. And I feel like we can just expand that community and bring more people into it. I think that this is relevant to a lot of people. We just need to get in front of them. So my vision for this is, if I can get contracts and advising gigs and speaking gigs and stuff like that to go and help people who need this information, the business supports scaling the community. Okay? So I have on, this is decodetheleft.com, and you guys can go here and you can find out more information about what we're doing. You can see the community is at the top of it. Why is that like that? That shouldn't be like, that's interesting. That's not the right homepage, but that's okay. I'll go back and fix it another time. It's a good enough homepage. It's a good enough homepage. There were just some links that I added that should be on the homepage that aren't on the homepage. Hey, that's the world of building a website, man. That's what happens. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. So the community is at the focal point of what we're doing. Also offering education, training, speaking, deep dive analysis, advising, consulting, briefs, media analysis. And another thing is archiving too. I think it's very, very important that we be making a robust and usable archive of all of this material that we've collected. We have propaganda on the left going back to the 70s. No one else has this stuff. This is a treasure trove for people who are researching this, who want to make sense of this. And I've always thought very strategically about how the work I'm doing is not just for now. The work I'm doing is for history. The work I'm doing is for 50, 100, 200 years from now, for people to be able to look back and say, yeah, there were people fighting back against this, or here's what actually happened. Because if we don't document the history, I don't think anyone else is going to do it. So that's very important to me as well. So what we've got, and you guys can go to the Start Here section if you want to see this. This is kind of like the quick overview. It's decodetheleft/Start Here. We have a resource that journalists, media outlets, political candidates, elected officials, policy teams, university boards, all these places can go to when they're looking for subject matter expertise, when they're looking for analysis on what groups are on their college campuses, what those groups care about, how can they work with those groups, what do they need to do to not get in trouble on the media and stuff like that. We can do speaking gigs, we can do virtual speaking gigs, we can do in-person speaking gigs, we can do private briefings and advising, consulting for organizations. If organizations have DEI throughout their organization and they want to give it out, or they want to get it out rather, can you imagine anyone better than me at that? I'm a literal organizational psychologist. I know how to do that. So we're going to build up this business, and I want everyone's help in this. If you know groups I can work with, if you want me to come and work with your group, if you have groups I can come and do speeches at. By the way, if you go to the services section on the website and go to Book Carlin to Speak, you can see a list of talks that I can give for organizations, for groups right now. So I'm really excited about this. I think what this does is it makes every single thing that we've been doing actionable. And I really want to push this out there, and I want to see how many people are going to bite at this. Because the left right now is wreaking havoc on the country. They're protesting all over the place. Queer activism is about to explode, I promise you. And there's no one else covering this content or doing this type of analysis the way that I'm doing it and we're doing it. And I think also the benefit that groups and organizations might have if they work with me is not only do they get access to me, they get access to my community. And there are no better researchers on the far left on the internet than the people in my community. We have been researching this stuff for fun for years, and now we can still research it for fun, but we can take those insights and make them actionable and get them in front of people to help them make better decisions and to make our work so much more impactful. So that's what Decode the Left is. It will always have free and low-cost resources. This is one of the things I actually think is a selling point for organizations, for candidates, for all these places that want to work with us. They are also supporting my ability to do streams like this, to provide free content, to do free educational sessions, free classes, all the things that we've been doing. Again, go to the resource page. We've got the Substack. We've got the podcast, the Counter-Revolutionary Book Club podcast. We've got the show that we're on right now. We've got Socialism Saturday. These are educational resources. These are things that I'm teaching over 100,000 people a month. on my Substack, on my YouTube, on my Twitter, well over, I mean, and that might actually be a low estimate on some months, but I'm teaching a lot of people about this stuff, giving them information they wouldn't otherwise get. And I think it's these types of resources that are actually critical to making sure the public is informed about what's going on. And I think there are a lot of people who would agree with that, but don't necessarily have all the time to sit on the internet all day, every day. So guess what? They can come and support this and contribute to it. We're going to do more classes like How to Speak Socialist. I have other talks I want to build out. We're going to do the Queer Marxism Project, which is about documenting all the propaganda, all the different clips that we have about queer Marxism, because that is about to make a resurgence in a really big way. Give people a resource for that. And then, of course, we have Red Menace Press and the Red Menace Collective, which is about book publishing. Now, how I've thought about this is this. So I actually do have, and you guys don't know this because I haven't talked about it, I actually do have a company, like an overarching company, called Red Menace Media. I created Red Menace Media because I wanted something that could kind of be just like the all-encompassing, you know, like company or organization for what I'm doing. One section of that organization is Decode the Left, which provides free resources and consulting and advising and speaking on on leftist intelligence and leftist groups and activism and stuff like that. The other component of Red Menace Media is Red Menace Press and the Red Menace Collective. And this is going to be about book publishing. This is going to be about archiving. This is going to be about creating elements for history that are going to outlive, hopefully, all of us, that are going to make sure that what was going on during this time period is documented. So that's what I've been working on. I'm really excited about it. So my main Substack, which is Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com, will keep the URL. It will always be my name. And now we're going to call that the Decode the Left Substack. We've got decodetheleft.com, where you can find all this information. We also have an update to the Actively Unwoke podcast, and this is probably the one that broke my heart the most, if I'm honest about it. I was like, can my Actively Unwoke podcast still keep the name Actively Unwoke? And I was like, no, it really can't. We have to make everything consistent. So the Actively Unwoke podcast, if you're subscribed to that on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or you listen to it through the Substack, the Actively Unwoke podcast is going to become the Decode the Left podcast, just to keep everything consistent. We also have the Twitter account. Oh, this burns me bad. You're going to look at the Twitter account as it exists right now, and you're going to say, Carlyn, that looks like the Better Discourse's Twitter account. And I'm going to be like, no, it's not, though. Because the Better Discourse's Twitter handle has been updated to Decode the Left. So the Better Discourse's Twitter account is no longer in existence. It is at Decode the Left. However, when I updated the Twitter handle, it put my account into review for my blue check. And so after I updated the Twitter handle, I could no longer change the name of the account or the profile photo of the account. So the Better Discourse's profile photo and name will be going away as soon as Twitter lets me edit my account again. And I was like, do you hold off on the announcement for the Twitter account? And I was like, no, we're not holding off on the announcement for the Twitter account. I'm not launching this on April Fool's Day. Are you kidding me? So the Twitter account will be updated expeditiously, probably in the next 24 hours, but that's why it's not updated yet. It's because I literally can't update it yet. But I got the handle, and that's what matters the most. The cosmetics can get taken care of later. And then the Telegram channel is changing. If you guys are not on the Telegram channel, it used to be t.me/unwokex. I'm changing it to t.me/decode the left. And there will be some other things that will change as well, probably. If you still see some Better Discourses stuff floating around, like I'm going through the process of changing it over. And so you're gonna see it change over, but it might just take a little time. So everyone just be, if you see something, you're like, Carlyn, you haven't changed that yet? Like, let me know. But I'm working on it. And the important thing is that the Substack has changed over. The website is up. All that good stuff is done. And the most important thing is that we have t-shirts. Because you guys know I can't make a badass Plague Doctor logo without making t-shirts. I mean, come on. Is there any cooler logo than my logo? Does anyone have better branding than me? I don't think they do. I think I actually have that. You can tell that I did marketing for a really long time early in my career. because my branding is, I not to pat myself on the back, but this looks good. And you know what it looks really good on? It looks really good on t-shirts. So I've got 2 different Plague Doctor t-shirts. We've got the Circle Plague Doctor, and check it out. You can even get a flask. You can get a purple flask or a white flask, and there'll be a red flask too, but I think the red flask is sold out at the moment. But I love the black and white. Here's the t-shirt. Comes in red or gold or purple or white. The white looks great. Or even pink. Why not? And then I've got what I've been calling the Dark Plague Doctor, which is just the same logo but without the circle around it. I mean, come on. Come on. And check out, look at the white version. Like, I don't like white t-shirts, but I like that one. It looks cool. Kazmar, do you want me to do hats? I'll do hats. I was thinking about doing hats. I got to figure out how to do it with the embroidery, though, Kazmar. I will look into that. So, guys, we do have some new t-shirts in the Unwoke Art store in honor of the launch of Decode the Left. Also, I've got this Marx is Dead design that I wanted to put up when I launched the Debunking Communist Manifesto book. I just didn't get a chance to put it up, but doesn't that look badass? Excuse me. Hang on. Oh my gosh. Of course, I start to choke up a lung as soon as I start talking. But as you guys know, when I launch new merch in the merch store, the merch is 25% off for the first week. So for right now in the merch store, if you want to pick up some cool merch today, you can get the Plague Doctor shirts, both the normal one and the Dark Plague Doctor. You can also get the Marx is Dead shirt for 25% off. That is for the first week of the design launches only. That is the tradition in the Unwoke Art store. When I put new merch in the store, you can get it for 25% off. Oh my gosh. Sorry. You can get it for 25% off in the first week. So if you want to pick it up, head over to unwokeart.com. You don't have to use a discount code or anything. You can just put it right in your cart and you will get your discount. There aren't stickers yet, but I'm going to do a whole sticker sheet, Paula. So, yep, there will be stickers coming. PCE and Love, good to see you. Learning from you has made things make so much more sense. It's really all about capitalism. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And they include anything they can to fit into it. And you love the Mark shirt? Well, get the Mark shirt now for 25% off. It looks badass, though, doesn't it? It's cool. So, how many Carlins do I have back there? Not enough, Annie. Not enough. But you know what? Part of this, guys, is just I've been developing, and I've been working on this for a while. I just haven't really talked about it. I've been developing systems to be able to work more efficiently. And you know what I love? AI is just game-changing. AI has changed everything. AI is my best friend. AI is my boyfriend. AI is the affair that I'm having with my husband right now. I don't need a real man to have an affair with. I just need a robot. And honestly, it's the best affair that I've ever had. I feel so satisfied. The AI is so helpful. And you know what? The thing is, like, you can't just go into AI and, like, you know, say, hey, write this book for me. That's not going to work. You can't just go into AI and say, can you do this analysis for me if you don't know anything about it? But once you become, like, a subject matter expert in something, AI makes it so much easier to put stuff together. It makes it so much easier to research. It allows you to draw connections. It allows you to work so much more efficiently. And guys, can we talk about, hang on, let me show you this. ChatGPT is now doing this thing where you can put a screenshot into ChatGPT and it'll make it into like an ad for you. So all I did was load a screenshot of the t-shirt into ChatGPT and it made an ad for me. And it's gotten really good at this. And so, listen, man, AI makes our life better. It makes our life more efficient. It allows me to do more. It allows me to accomplish more. No, it really can't, Bobby. Have you ever tried to write a screenplay or a novel in AI? Have you ever tried that? Because it ain't going to work. I'm telling you right now. If you guys think that you can just write novels or a screenplay in AI, go try. Go see how that goes. That's not how it works. But But for what AI does do, it's really helpful and really amazing. And it's a very serious thing to say that I probably wouldn't be able to accomplish what I'm going to be able to accomplish with this without using AI. So AI is our friend. We need to use it for what it's useful for. And yeah, it'll probably destroy us all someday, but that's just the way it goes. Suzanne, the most important thing to me is actually understanding the political ideology. I'm so much less confused and anxious. Huge for me. Thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. No, I haven't done that yet. I don't want to do it. I don't even know how to say that. All right. So that's the big announcement, guys. Decode the Left is here. I'm really excited about it. I hope you're really excited about it. If you want to work with me, get in touch with me through the website. Send me a DM on Twitter. If you know people who would be interested in this type of thing, help me spread the word. I would really appreciate it. And I think we're going to see some cool stuff from it come this year. And the haters are going to be reeing all over the internet. And I don't really care. I don't really care. I am so tired of internet drama. I am so tired of the nonsense. I'm so tired of just like everyone attacking everyone else, and it's insane. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired, and I don't want to do it anymore. And so part of the reason on doing this, I mean, if I'm being really honest about it, part of the reason that I'm doing Decode the Left is I honestly just don't want to deal with the online bullshit anymore. And it's like I need a way to focus my energy and maybe even accomplish something. So we have entered the Decode the Left era. I'm excited about it. And as part of that, we got to keep up with current events. So what we're going to be doing, guys, for the rest of the show today is we're going to be watching the Transgender Day of Visibility rally. This took place earlier. I don't think this is still live. It might be, though. Yep, it's still live. Okay. The Transgender Day of Visibility is today, and they're holding a rally in Washington, D.C., and they've been giving speeches for about an hour and a half now. And we're not gonna watch it. We're gonna go back to the beginning and watch some of the earlier speeches, but we're gonna spend the rest of our time together today watching the rally in Washington, D.C., seeing what the Transgender Day of Visibility activists have to say. Kind of a light Monday. And then at 7 o'clock tonight, guys, we are going to be heading into our supporter Zoom. If you have never been to a supporter Zoom call, how you get access to it is by heading over to the new Decode the Left Substack, which you can find at carlin.substack.com, and go to the digest email. And in the digest email, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, underneath this red box, you will find the Zoom link that you can use to join us for the supporter Zoom call at 7 p.m. tonight. You will find access to the supporter Discord. Mac B will be showing a movie tonight in the supporter Discord. I believe he's showing heavy metal. So maybe you want to get high before you go to the movie tonight with Mac B. But I definitely recommend that everyone do that. So come and join us for a chat at 7 p.m. It's a private chat. It's unrecorded. You can meet other people in the community. Just hang out, shoot the shit for a little while. You can ask me questions if you want. We can discuss, brainstorm creatively, or we can just hang out and chill, and that's fine too. And then at 9 p.m. tonight, MacB is watching a movie, and you can find all that information over on the Discord in the digest email. Not the Discord, the Substack in the digest email. All right, that's all. That is all the announcement that I have. I really am excited about this, though. I really hope I have a really good feeling about the Decode the Left stuff. Like a shockingly good feeling. And this is something I understand because I've built a business like this before. So, fingers crossed if we can get people to listen. And listen, man, organizations are more likely to listen when they're paying someone money than when they're not. I'll tell you that right now. Like, I have never been listened to so much in my life than when an organization was paying me thousands of dollars to give them advice. That's really the sweet spot. Organizations won't listen to employees. They won't listen to people on the internet. They won't listen to subject matter experts unless they're paying those subject matter experts a lot of money, and then they listen real good. It's ironic. Like, I could give away all this advice for free on the internet. We could do these streams every single day, but they won't sit and watch the streams on the internet, but they'll pay me to come and tell them what to do. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Anyway, yeah, imagine paying thousands. Well, sometimes they do that too. I mean, listen, man, I've done consulting for places. I have absolutely done consulting for places where they paid me. There was one place, no joke, that paid me over 6 figures. And I really hope I can find clients like this again. They paid me over 6 figures and still ignored everything that I told them to do. And this was not a one-time thing. This was like a long-ass consulting engagement. And that was part of what like destroyed my interest to do consulting, honestly, because it was like, you're paying me all this money and you're still not fucking listening to me. Like, I'll take the money. Like, I like money. Money's great. I don't mind taking the money, but can you please just listen to what I'm saying? But no, they paid me over 6 figures in retainers and stuff like that to not listen to what I was saying. Hey, it happens. What can you do? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. All right. Let's watch some transgender day of visibility, shall we? I almost said disability. We're going to go back to the beginning of the stream.
And
we're just going to see what's going on.
We have buses on their way. We have people who are coming after work, and we'll make room for those folks as they keep joining us. And
this is not totally live, guys, but this is today in Washington, D.C. So the rally is still going on right now. We're just scrolling back to earlier. Please make sure you mount the like button for me if you should be so kind. I would really appreciate it.
Thank you to all of you for showing up to celebrate, to make your voices heard, and to fight together for trans dignity and justice. I also just want to jump through a few things in the program before we move through. We have marshals around the area in pink shirts who are here to help. If you're ever feeling unsafe or you need support, please talk to one of them. Please do not engage with anyone seeking violence or instigating you. We're not here for them, we're here for us. We also have ASL interpretation right up front, and we have a medic and portable toilets to my right for anyone who needs them. I'm so grateful to our partners in this movement for co-hosting this event with us. Thank you to our incredible sponsors in Popular Democracy in Action, Interfaith Alliance, Human Rights Campaign, Indivisible, and Planned Parenthood of Metro DC for making it possible for us to be here today.
Okay, so this is sponsored by Indivisible. That's one of the leftist activist groups. Sponsored by Human Rights Campaign. That's one of the leftist activist groups. However, Indivisible and Human Rights Campaign are more towards the progressive end of the leftist spectrum. And so what we're watching right now is not hardcore queer activism. It's not the militant far left. We are watching people that are much more like leftist light, where if you're kind of new to understanding the different groups on the left, that might seem weird. You might be like, they're all the same. No, they're not all the same. And some are more dangerous than others. And I'm not actually worried about Indivisible or the Human Rights Campaign, but we should still keep an eye on what they're saying, because Indivisible and Human Rights Campaign are like trickle down from the real radical revolutionary far left.
I also want to give special recognition to the members of Congress who are here with us today. The members today are our champions. And we at Christopher Street Project believe that being a Democrat means more than just your party affiliation.
Oh, yeah? What does it mean?
It's about unapologetic defense of trans people wherever they're being attacked.
Oh.
And in the face of this massive threat to all of our rights, in the face of what Trump and his billionaire cronies are unleashing, we demand more from the people we elected to protect us. We deserve more. And we say, with all of the power that we have, cowards have no place in Congress. Christopher Street Project builds and leverages political power to make equity a reality for trans people across the country, and we are fighting desperately for the pro-trans Congress we desperately need and deserve.
Oh.
Our guiding principle is courage. 56 years ago, that courage was demonstrated by the queer and trans people who led the Stonewall riots.
Aha.
My great-uncle, Mark Scheer, was one of them. Beaten up in the Stonewall riots for standing up for LGBTQ plus people like him.
So this is a second generation trans person.
Himself and standing side by side with his trans siblings. It was his courage and the courage of Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera that ensured we would never be erased. Let me hear you say it with me. We will not be quiet. Stonewall was a riot. We will not be quiet. Stonewall was a riot.
Oh! Now we're getting into some hardcore queer activism. That's what we're talking about. So in the 2000s, and I think in the 90s, but definitely in the 2000s, Bashback, which Bashback is like the militant queer activist arm that came out of the ACT UP movement in the 80s. Bashback literally had posters and stickers saying, "We will not be quiet. Stonewall was a riot." Antifa has posters and stickers when they're talking about queer stuff that says, "We will not be quiet. Stonewall was a riot." It is an explicit call for militant queer activism. It's a specific call for violence. And so I thought this was going to be more of a progressive type rally, but that's them's fighting words right there. That's militant queer activism.
We will not be quiet. Thank you. We need the courage of our ancestors at Stonewall in this moment, from our elected leaders and from each other. It will take courage to stand up to fascism, to declare loudly and boldly that our freedoms and our lives are bound together. It will take courage to fight. It will take courage, and it does take courage to even exist, to stand proudly and declare in the face of an administration hell-bent on erasing you that we are here, we are trans and queer, and we are not going anywhere.
Trans and queer.
Not until we get what we are promised and we're owed as Americans. A government that protects us, respects all of us, and represents all of us. That's what we deserve. We are all worth fighting for. We are all worth fighting for, and should never be told to disappear to make others comfortable. So, I'm calling out the people in the building behind me trying to erase our existence. We are here, we are paying attention, and we are ready to fight. I'm so grateful to all of you for joining us today, and I'm honored to pass the microphone to Reverend Paul Brandeis Rauschenbusch, President and CEO of Interfaith Alliance.
Hello, everybody. Well, it is such an honor to offer an invocation for Trans Day of Visibility. And traditionally, I might invite the assembly to close your eyes. But for this prayer, I urge all of us to keep our eyes open so that we might look around and see the beauty and the power of the people assembled here today. So go ahead, look around, take a look. This is beauty. This is power. So please join me in this invocation. God of life, we keep our eyes open as we give thanks for every trans life of every age who are alive today.
Wow.
All those trans lives who came before and those trans lives who are yet to come. God of love, let each person here today, especially our trans siblings, know that you love them exactly for who they are. Holy One, give us courage to show up in every faith community, State House, and White House, and boldly proclaim that all trans lives are sacred and beloved.
Wow, bro, this is queer theology right here.
Righteous God, we demand justice for trans lives. We demand that the attacks stop. We demand that the hate stop. We demand that the deadly legislation stop. Transform the hearts of every political and religious leader so
transform, you say? Transform? For those who are new to this, when queer activists are saying trans, they don't mean transition from man to woman or woman to man. They don't want people to transition from man to woman or woman to man. They want to abolish gender entirely. That means they want to get rid of men and women. What they want is to transform gender or transcend gender. So when you hear the words transform or transcend in this context, they are not talking about transitioning from man to woman or woman to man. They're talking about transforming the gender binary. This is like, it's like a dog whistle. It's like it's queer activists' own dog whistle is the term trans. Let's listen to that again.
Stop. Transform the hearts of every political and religious leader so that they might join together in your great movement of justice for trans lives in this nation and across the world. God, we gratefully keep our eyes open on this Trans Day of Visibility so that we might clearly see the path forward towards a day when all trans lives in this and future generations are able to live freely and love fully. We pray these things in the name of all that is glorious, just like this community. Amen.
Amen.
And now it is my great honor.
Amen indeed. PC and Love says gender abolishing? Yes. So queer activists want to abolish gender entirely. They don't want to abolish men. They don't want to abolish women. They want to abolish all gender because they believe that capitalism created the gender binary. The gender binary put men in the workplace where they had all the money and all the power. It put women in the home where they did the unpaid labor of raising the next generation of proletarian workers in the nuclear family. This is a gender hierarchy. The gender hierarchy where the men are on top and the women are on the bottom. They believe these are socially constructed roles created by capitalism. This is also called the patriarchy. So how do you fix this problem? How do you fix a problem where some people, based on their socially constructed gender roles, men, have more power than other people in their socially constructed gender roles, women? How you fix that, how you level the hierarchy, is you get rid of gender entirely. And we're reading a lot of text right now in the Counter-Revolutionary Book Club. You can find that over on the Substack, Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. Just go to the book club link in the top. We are reading a lot of documents from queer and gender activists that are literally about gender abolition. They say it overtly. They're not covert about it. They say, we want to abolish gender. We just read a document last week called the Gender Accelerationist Manifesto that the first line in it was death to gender. So yeah, they want to abolish all gender. They want to create a world of non-binary they-thems because that will mean there's no gender oppression. If everyone's a they-them, there's no oppression.
To introduce Rabbi Abby Stein, who is a congregational rabbi and a champion for justice. Rabbi Stein.
I tried. I'm here. Thank you.
Okay.
I remember this person.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure this person spoke at the last rally we watched for Socialism Saturday.
I really love all of you. Like, it's a very picnicky, it's beautiful, it's amazing. But I want you all to make some noise. I want you to be visible, especially if you're trans, especially if you have ever in your life been told by anyone to shut up. Now is your time to make noise. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. For speaking up today and for speaking up every day. Sorry, I don't like being pinned. Okay. My name is Abby. As the Reverend mentioned, I'm a rabbi. And I'm very proud of that for many reasons. But right now, I want to start by sharing something. And I'm translating word for word from a very radical person writing 1800 years ago.
Shalom. Abby.
Some people,
Rabbi,
are sometimes male, sometimes female, sometimes both, sometimes none. And then there is a quote that I love from an 18th century, from a 2nd century rabbi. You don't have to believe me. Any of the press, if you want to challenge me, come ask me after, who says that there are some people who are neither male nor female, don't fit on this gender binary altogether.
See? They want to abolish
I am
all
not
gender.
here to convert anyone. I'm not here to tell you.
See, once you understand that these people want to abolish all gender, you will hear them say it over and over and over again, where they're like, everyone's non-binary, you're not on the binary, let's get rid of the binary. Anytime they're talking about abolishing the binary, getting rid of the binary, they're literally talking about creating a world of they-thems. And you can't unhear it once you understand what they're talking about. Listen again.
From a 2nd century rabbi, you don't have to believe me. Any of the press, if you want to challenge me, come ask me after, who says that there are some people who are neither male nor female, don't fit on this gender binary altogether. I am not here to convert anyone. I'm not here to tell you about religion. What I'm here to tell you is that when there's a person, a fascist dictator sitting in a house not far from here, who stands up and says that there are only 2 genders, he is so backwards. He is not just morally wrong. He was wrong even 2,000 years ago.
Trump is a fascist dictator because he said there's only 2 genders. We have to relive this moment again.
I am not here to convert anyone. I'm not here to tell you about religion. What I'm here to tell you is that when there's a person, a fascist dictator sitting in a house not far from here, who stands up and says that there are only 2 genders, he is so backwards. He is not just morally wrong. He was wrong even 2,000 years ago. He was wrong in the past, he was wrong in the present, and he will be wrong in any future that we will create. Those people claim that they are fighting for women, that they are fighting for children, and more than anything, they love claiming their God, which seems to be a boogeyman in the sky rather than a God, that is the reason for their transphobia. But let me tell you something. My religion has taught me that every human being is the divine image. When the people in that White House or the people in the White House try to take away our rights, try to legislate us out of existence, what you are doing, every bill that you try to pass is an affront, not just to humanity, but to divinity and to any version of spirituality or creation that you want to come up with. In just 2 weeks.
So the Jewish rabbi just told us that if you pass a bill that says there's only 2 genders, you are making an affront to divinity and spirituality, according to the Jewish trans rabbi. Okay.
We're going to be celebrating Passover. One of the definitions of the Exodus and one of the things that we are told is an obligation that we carry in every generation to leave our narrow place. To me, a narrow place is the definition of an egg or a closet, whatever it is for you. But it is our spiritual, our religious, our cultural,
idea,
but more than
Mackie.
anything
Good idea.
else,
Thank you.
it is our moral obligation to make sure that we are visible so that all the people who came before us and the people coming after us will know that who they are is beautiful. That being trans isn't just okay, it is something that is worthy to celebrate. It is And it is something that no one in the world can ever take away from you, regardless of how much military or police or physical abuse they try to use on us. A world without trans people never existed and never will, no matter how much they try.
Wow.
We have defeated fascist tyrants before, and we will defeat them again. And now it is my honor and privilege to invite up someone who I was just about 17 months ago. We were standing also at the Capitol when my colleagues and I at Rabbis for Ceasefire were doing our first rally at the Capitol, and Congresswoman Summerlee was one of the first people to stand with us. What do
you have to do to become a rabbi? Because I feel like, I mean, listen, man, we did a whole 6-hour Jewish school one night on Socialism Saturday. We did Talmud school. We went to Jewish school. It wasn't that hard. And I just wonder, like, what is the actual process for becoming a rabbi? And why does it seem like every Jewish person is a rabbi? Listen, I don't mean to disrespect the religion. I really, really don't. But, like, when I see people like this, as like, this person is a rabbi, this person is a spiritual leader, I wouldn't trust this person to do my fucking dishes. And it's not because they're Jewish, it's not because they're trans, it's because they're obviously psychotic. I don't want this person as a spiritual leader. I wouldn't want this person as a spiritual leader in anything. So how did this person become a rabbi? And listen, I have a video on my Substack where we actually, this was the Jewish school we went to. We had them on video saying that like 50% of the people that are training to be rabbis are queer. I have this on video on my Substack. Why? There's no anti-Semitism allowed on this channel. We love Jews. We love bagels. The Holocaust was the worst thing that ever happened. All that stuff. But why in the ever-loving F are 50% of the people training to be rabbis, why are they all queer? Or 50% of them queer? It just maybe seems to me that maybe, yeah, like Rabbi Shmuley is a psychotic person. Rabbi Shmuley literally sells butt plugs. Like, how did Rabbi Shmuley become a rabbi? Who is going to Rabbi Shmuley for spiritual advice? Rabbi Shmuley, I heard, is like getting sued for like extorting someone in Florida. It's like, that's your spiritual leader? I just think, again, this is nothing against the Jewish religion. I don't really care. I'm not a Jew. I'm not a Christian. I don't care. I don't care. I just want the bar to be a little bit higher for what we call a spiritual leader. That's all I'm saying.
Champion for LGBTQ and transgender rights from before being elected and every day since. It is my honor to introduce Congresswoman Summerlee.
Stunning and brave queen.
We got music. See, because it's a celebration. So, hey, everybody, I'm Summer Lee. I am proud to represent Western Pennsylvania in Congress. I'm proud to be here with you, and I'm even prouder to be an auntie of my trans nibbling. So,
God!
I didn't come.
Did we just get a nibbling sighting in the wild? Did we seriously just hear someone unironically use the term nibbling? Where do we know this term from, do you ask? Oh, I'll show you. I'll show you. I will show you where we know the term nibbling from. Hang on. I need to look it up. If you go to my Substack, that is Carlin, KARLYN.substack.com. You will find an article called Washington, D.C. Mayor Funds Training to Get Rid of Words, Mother, Father, Boys, and Girls. This is a training that we infiltrated that was funded last year, I believe, by the mayor's office in Washington, D.C., where they argue that we shouldn't be using gendered language anymore. Do you guys want to take a quick listen to this clip? Because you're gonna hear a word in this clip that I don't think I've ever heard this word anywhere else.
So for the end of our session today, we really just want to break down, okay, we've got the terms, we're going to keep using them and be on this process. What are other things that we can do to make sure we're creating safe spaces? We'll send this to you, obviously. This, as we think about what can we do to dismantle gender spaces, gender inclusive language, right? So gendered language is everywhere. So this is very small, but husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. You may hear folks refer to their people as partners or spouses, which is a gender neutral term. Boys and girls, we can talk children's, kids, kiddos, young people, everyone, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, folks, everyone. You'll hear me use folks a lot. Just encompasses a large group of people for all genders, right? A lot of us will say, hey guys, especially in the sports space, come on over, guys. You're automatically excluding anyone who doesn't identify as a boy, right? Or that prescribed gender as a guy. And so things like that are just those small catches. I'll still say guys and be like, whoop. And so it's just those quick corrections in the moment of, oh, I'm so sorry. There's multiple people here. Come on over, everyone. Brother and sister, we can refer to them as siblings. And something I learned recently for young people in our life who are the children of our siblings, the term that is being used is nibblings, which I really enjoy. So we'll add that to the list as well.
Nibblings. Nibblings. There it is. We knew about this term. When did we know about this term? January 9th of 2024. Over a year ago. And now we have had our first official nibbling sighting in the wild in Washington, D.C., of all places, which makes sense because the training we just watched was sponsored by the mayor's office in Washington, D.C., which means, by the way, our federal government paid for it because the federal government allocates the budget for Washington, D.C., because that's just the way it goes. So we all paid for this. Congratulations. Let's listen to our nibbling mention again.
Western Pennsylvania in Congress. I'm proud to be here with you, and I'm even prouder to be an auntie of my trans nibbling. So, I didn't come here today to play around. I know that none of you all, it's nice out here before the rain comes, and I know none of us came out here to mince words, to sanitize anything, or to pretend that anything that we're dealing with is cute and happy. And we can do both, right? Because we can have joy and we can also resist. We can lift up our humanity, and we can also fight back against villainy. And that's what we are going to be doing a lot these days. I want to say that what's happening right now, especially to our trans siblings, is cruel, is bullshit, and it is not normal, and we will stand up against it. But it is not just policy disagreement. It is not a debate. It is by design, and it's targeting, and they are purposely targeting some of the most marginalized people in our society. So let me tell you where it looks like where I come from. In Pittsburgh, a city where we have world-class medicine, world-class hospitals, we've got families who are being denied life-saving care for their trans babies at UPMC Children's Hospital. And just for perspective, that is the only children's hospital that we have in our region. These are parents doing everything in their power to care for, to affirm, and stand by their children, and they're being turned away, not in some, red, far-off red state. It's right here in our backyard. This is what Trump's anti-trans agenda looks like. Even without a national ban, the fear, the pressure, and the silence they create is doing the work for them. It's making healthcare providers hesitate. It's making institutions retreat. It's making families feel isolated or abandoned or unsafe. And I just want to say it here, when you make it harder for children to be seen, to be loved, to be treated with dignity, that's not just a policy failure, that is a moral failure. these attacks we're seeing day in and day out, they're not just anti-trans attacks, first of all, because trans folks are human beings. So all of the attacks, whether they're anti-immigrant, anti-education, anti-healthcare, anti-housing, anti-genocide, or pro-genocide, whatever it may be, all of those things are harming our communities. And it is time that we stand up against all of it. But let me say, the reason why he's attacking all of those things is because he knows what every authoritarian knows. Organized people, organized workers, marginalized people who have autonomy and don't feel a race, that is a threat to their power. And that's why they're scared. That's why they're coming for our books. That's why they're coming for our doctors, our teachers, our workers, and yes, especially our trans babies. But they're not a talking point. And we're certainly not political football for folks, cruel policymakers to kick around for headlines, for donations, for attention and their attention-seeking behaviors. Our workers, our families, our friends are worth fighting for. And when we do that, they will know the power that is in spaces like this. When they hear us and when they see us and when we stand up, they will know that we will not stand for their authoritarian bullcrap wherever and whatever and whichever ways they try to perpetrate it. So know this, on today we are standing for our trans siblings. But tomorrow, we are going to stand for everybody who is being attacked, because an attack on one is an attack on all. And we know that all of our liberation is tied together. So whether you're black or you're brown or you're immigrant or you've been here for a long time, or you're trans or you're queer or you're straight, or you are working class or you're in labor, whoever you are, I'm telling you, this is your moment. This is our moment. And if we let them get away with coming for one of us, then we are all laying down and letting them have us all. And I'll be damned, and I know you'll be damned, and that's how we go down in the year 2025. So gear up, get in the fight, stay and fight and trim, because we will not stand down. So thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, you just heard a congresswoman say we're not free, no one is free until everyone is free. What that means, she's talking about liberation from capitalism. Capitalism oppresses all those groups. Therefore, as long as capitalism exists, no one is liberated, no one is free until everyone is free. Talking about the working class and labor sounds a little bit socialist to me.
Thank you, Congresswoman Lee. It is now my honor to introduce a member of House Democratic leadership.
I think that she's not a liberal. She's absolutely not a liberal. I think she's like in between progressive and democratic socialist. So I don't think that she's a full-on socialist. Remember, we learned this on Socialism Saturday. They view any like real leftists, real communists and socialists believe that anyone in an elected branch of government is inherently corrupted by fascism. So I would say she's between progressive and democratic socialist of America if I were to have to like put her on the leftist spectrum. But she's not a socialist or communist. She's also much more leftist than a liberal is.
Who personally whipped the votes against the Child Predator Empowerment Act and made sure that we kept Democratic defections to a minimum and our caucus united in defense of trans people. Please welcome Whip Catherine Clark.
Hello! How are you all? I cannot express my pride and gratitude that I have for each.
I feel like older Democrat women feel like all they need to do to be hip is to put on a pair of Chuck Taylors, and it makes me like I have an extensive collection of Chucks. I have a great collection of Chucks. I like my Chucks, okay? But women like this make me not want to wear them because they make them look lame and awful because they think that that's cool for some reason. I don't know.
And every one of you,
like,
as a member of Congress, as the
pants.
Democratic whip, and especially as the mom of a young woman who had the strength and self-awareness to say, I'm Riley and I'm trans.
Why do all these Democrat politicians have trans kids or trans nieces or trans nephews? All of them. Hey everyone, welcome Joy B to the chat. Joy B, welcome to our little community. We hope you'll stick around a while. Come learn about the left with us. Please feel free to ask questions if you have them. We will answer all questions. No question is no question is dumb. Okay, we were all learning once about the left. So welcome to Joy B.
So I don't need to tell you how scary these times are. Republicans are trying to divide us and distract us so they can funnel more money and more power to a select few. And we've been in these moments before. We know the playbook, whether it's the 30s in Berlin or the 60s in New York or right now in Washington, D.C. They distract and divide and scapegoat so they can tear everybody down. This time, they're using this community, our trans community. They want Americans to believe that our LGBTQ neighbors are to blame for the challenges we face as a country. They hope that if we're focused on all of us, we won't notice that the Republicans are closing our public schools, that they're defunding Social Security, slashing our health care, firing veterans, increasing costs of housing and groceries, and starting trade wars with our allies.
And trying to invade Greenland.
And what is the point? What is the point of this reckless agenda? To enrich the billionaire class, and it's all part of one corrupt plot. In MAGA America, the 1% have access to wealth, freedom, power, and voting rights, but not for the rest of us.
Really?
They believe there should be a separate set of rules for the wealthy and connected, while the rest of us get pushed further behind. Well, we're here to say enough is enough. We will not let them demonize this community. We will not let them demoralize us. And we won't let them steal the future from our kids. Our power begins and ends with the solidarity we have with one another. So know this, I stand with you. House Democrats stand with you. And we are all standing together against the fascist lie that our bodies are not our own, that non-white means non-qualified, that billionaires are more worthy of dignity than working families. The lie that the trans community is anything but courageous and joyous and entitled to a fair shot at the American dream, just like every other American. So we thank you all for speaking out against bigotry, for defending the basic promise of this country, for working and fighting for freedom and opportunity and dignity for every single person, and for an America that is worthy of all of our children. Let's stay in this fight. That's how we win. Thank you so much for having me.
No music. No. There we go.
Hello, visible people.
Hello.
I see you.
Oh.
Everyone sees you. We need this day of visibility, and we need you. I'm Bear Atwood, Vice President of NOW, the National Organization for Women.
Oh my God.
My pronouns are she, her.
NOW. I haven't had
NOW
good
was
NOW
founded
speech
more
in a
than
while.
50 years ago by women who had enough of being told that they couldn't do, talk about, work for, or change what they wanted. Now's co-founder Shirley Chisholm used to say, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Or occupy the mall. Another founder, Dr. Murray, wrote Now's first statement of purpose, which was one of the first declarations of intersectionality as a social justice goal.
No kidding.
She wrote, we realize that women's problems are linked to many broader questions of social justice.
Oh my God.
Their solution will require concerted action by many groups. Therefore, convinced that human rights are for all indivisible, we expect to give active support to the common cause of equal rights for all those who suffer discrimination and deprivation. Human rights for all. That is the call we answer today. And it's why Now is so proud to stand with you on this historic place at this historic moment. Our grassroots activists are working in the states, and our national members are standing up to Trump and Musk and the anti-trans agenda that is unsafe for every American. We need courts, laws, and politicians who will stand up against bullying and discrimination directed at transgender students, criminalizing doctors and teachers for supporting trans rights, legalizing workplace harassment and discrimination, and the rest of these vicious attacks on the trans community. And this community needs allies. Now is proud to stand with you today and throughout what comes next. Now it is my privilege to introduce Congresswoman Robin Kelly from Illinois. She is a true trans rights champion.
I cannot deal with the
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, God.
We are here today to celebrate you and to celebrate trans joy. It is trans joy that will outshine Trump's bigotry. Trans joy that will persist and persevere. We are here today to declare trans people are not invisible, not standing quietly on the sidelines, and not erasable. I'd like to thank the Christopher Street Project for inviting me to speak today. As we stand in front of the Capitol, I am so proud to be your ally in Congress. I see you. I see your power, and I will not let a bully steal your joy. On his first day in the Oval Office, Trump signed an executive order to try to erase trans people.
I wish.
It was full of bullshit like him. Trans people have always existed and will always exist, period. His actions and the actions of Republicans who bend the knee, however, have severe consequences. When Trump froze foreign aid funding, it threw global healthcare programs into chaos, especially PEPFAR. For over 20 years, PEPFAR has saved over 26 million lives worldwide and has been a lifeblood and a lifeline for LGBTQ plus people in the face of stigma and discrimination. In many countries, especially in places where people being true to yourself comes with immense risk, PEPFAR is the only program that provides HIV prevention, treatment, and care. Congressman Barbara Lee from Oakland has entrusted me with reauthorizing PEPFAR this Congress, and I will not let her down or you down. We are just 5 years away from ending HIV/AIDS pandemic. Our progress cannot stop. I will continue marching on. I promise you that. And I know each and every one of you will keep moving forward also. Please hang in there. Don't stand on the sidelines. We are fighting with one or two hands behind our back, but then we'll start kicking. But we need you to kick with us. Now I'd like to introduce my fabulous colleague from Oregon 4, Congressman Val Hoyle. Thank you.
Well, how are we doing today?
I don't like her.
So I am Val Hoyle. I represent the Central and South Coast of Oregon. And there's a bunch of people on Trans Day of Visibility that want you to disappear, to be quiet, anyone who's different. Well, I'm here to say, we'll stand with you loud and proud. I'm here to say that what's clear is that people living as their authentic selves should not be a problem for anyone else. I'm here to stand with the trans community because how you choose to live your life as your authentic self does not scare me, nor should it scare me, because our diversity is our strength. And what we've seen over the last election cycle is fear-mongering and disinformation targeting the trans community, and it's wrong. We have to stand together because, as so many transgender activists have said, trans people may be the first target.
Hang on.
But they will not be.
Hang on. For as much of my content as you've watched, the fact that you don't know the difference yet between Democrats and liberals and progressives and Democratic Socialists of America and real socialists and communists, it's a little sad, bro. It really, really is. Just so we're clear, and this is for new people too, I don't give a flying fuck about the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party doesn't matter. The Democratic Party is no different than the Republican Party. Like, they're the same party. They're the same. We don't care about Democrats. Democrats are not a threat. What is a threat is the radical revolutionary far left. This person is an inconsequential politician that we are probably never going to hear from again. What is concerning is that the real left is using the Democratic Party to pull disaffected lefties, people who don't like the Democrats, pull liberal people, pull progressives. They're trying to use it to radicalize them to the far left. That is what we care about. It's the radicalization to the far left that is actually the problem. If the Democrats keep winning with their shitty-ass party, first of all, that's an indictment against Republicans, because if Democrats ever win anything again, it's because Republicans chose to lose, which they probably will do. But the real threat is not the fucking Democrats. The real threat is the radicalization of everyone that's pissed off with the Democratic Party, which is a lot of people on the left right now. That's what we care about. No, Bobby, that's incorrect, and you should know the difference of this too. Gay marriage literally did come from the Democrats. Gay marriage did not come from the radical revolutionary far left. Bobby, we have watched many streams that you've been in on. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire, bro, because you say stupid stuff like this in my chat all the time. We have watched multiple streams that you have been on talking about how the real far left does not support gay marriage. Real socialists, real communists never wanted gay marriage. Who supported gay marriage? Democrats and liberals and progressives. That's not the real far left. Okay, let's keep going.
The last. And we've seen the same cruel targets being used against unions, against immigrants, against legal permanent residents, and against who their only crime was exercising their right to free speech.
That is
growing
actually
up in
true.
the labor movement, I learned very young one thing, and that is an attack on one is an attack on all.
Oh, the labor movement, you say. Oh, that sounds socialist.
And the only way to push back against, some of the most powerful people in the world who have targeted trans people specifically is
Yep,
through
that's right,
solidarity.
green-eyed lady. Solidarity!
Across gender identities, races, genders, colors, creeds, class, it doesn't matter. We stand together or we all fall.
As comrades.
So the fact of the matter is, your rights as trans people are directly tied to my rights as a woman, which are directly tied to the rights of college students, to immigrants. Because we may not have the same story, but we are all vulnerable if we don't stand up. If we say, it's okay because I'm not like them, they won't stop. They will not stop. So just so you know, I will defend your right to live as you are as long as I am in this body. Because your right to be just you is...
Guys, again, a reminder, and I'm going to have an article that's going to come out very soon that's going to help people understand this. If a person is an elected representative in Congress, the most far left that they are is maybe a Democratic Socialist of America. But Democratic Socialist of America is not the real far left. They're reformers, but that's about as... So what we're seeing here with this person, just like that other congresswoman, is probably waffling like around progressive, inching towards Democratic Socialist of America, but this is not a real socialist or communist. Here's a question. For years, people referred to non-Americans living in America as green card holders. When did that language become pertinent? So, okay, so I'm married to one of those people. So, green card holder is the colloquial term. The actual legal term for what he is a permanent resident alien. But green card is just a colloquial term. It was never the official legal term. But people here on green cards do have the right to speak their mind. They have free speech, and Trump's going to lose on that one. We'll talk about that another time.
Directly tied to all of our rights. So I want to thank again the Christopher Street Project for this opportunity to speak to you today. No, you are welcome in my office here, or if you're in Oregon. And I'd like to introduce voted the most effective freshman legislator of the 118th Congress, Hawaiian Jill Takuda.
Oh. Hawaii.
All right. Aloha!
Aloha!
Oh, let's do it again. Make sure that those assholes over the White House can hear you. Aloha!
The White House is the other... Wait.
You know what?
No, that is the right...
When I gave birth to my sons, and they're now teenagers, I finally understood what it meant to be willing to die for someone. And I know we've got some mothers out here right now who would do absolutely the same. To give absolutely everything, to make sure they were safe, that they were loved, that they were able to live as their true, authentic selves. And nowadays, I wake up every single morning mad as a mother that this inhumane, this heartless administration is seeking to erase our children, our families, our friends, our colleagues, our neighbors, our sisters, our brothers. I am furious at the cruelty, the ignorance, the deliberate stripping away of dignity of our transgender Ohana. But hear me, my friends. Look around you, gathered beautifully, brightly, all of us here. Hear me when I say this. Transgender people are not a debate. Your existence is not up for discussion. Trans rights are human rights. Now, many of us come from cultures far older than this nation, where gender fluidity was not just accepted, it was honored. Over the course of Hawaii's history, the Mahu were healers and caretakers, extraordinary individuals.
So Joy has a question. Remember, Joy's new, so everyone be nice to Joy. We don't want to overwhelm her with information too quickly. Wouldn't promoting trans ideology erase families? One of the first things you need to learn is that trans and queer are not the same thing. So, Joy, I have several articles on my Substack, Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Go under the Woke 101 section. It's in the upper menu, and you will find probably at least 3 articles, if not even more than that, where I explain explicitly that trans and queer are not the same thing. So we need to be specific about this because queer ideology is a far left political ideology. You do not have to be gay to be queer. You do not have to be trans to be queer. You can be a straight white man and still be queer just by saying that you are. So the thing that wants to erase families is queer ideology. I understand why you think it's trans ideology because a lot of people conflate those two, but trans ideology is you know, like, I don't even know that trans ideology is a real thing. I think that trans ideology is like the misinterpretation of queer ideology that most right-wingers have. But queer ideology is actually what they're worried about. But in queer ideology, they don't want people to transition. They don't want people to transition from man to woman or woman to man. They just want to get rid of gender entirely, which is what would end up destroying the nuclear family. And we can answer more questions about that if you want.
Of dual male and female mind, heart, and spirit. Absolutely, 2 spirits, not just 2 genders. Now I want to know something. Do I have any kama'aina in the house right now, or anyone who's ever visited Hawaii? Yell out loud. Well, if you've been to Hawaii in the last few years, and you've walked along Waikiki Beach, famous Waikiki Beach that everyone visits, you would have passed 4 stones. In my office, I have this book, Kapai Mahu, prominently displayed for every single person to see when they walk in my office. It was written by Kumuhina Wongkalu, and it talks of the history and meaning of those stones, monuments to the Mahu who brought the healing arts to Hawaii.
Okay.
I share this with you,
So?
not only to convey the timeless existence of our trans and Mahu culture, but to honor someone I look up to as a mentor and a leader. Kumuhina is the one you want, I want, at the table to help navigate and negotiate what can be challenging and complicated issues facing Hawaii, our nation, and the world. And yet, in this so-called land of the free we live in, our transgender ohana have become vilified for simply being who they are. And critical cultural assets, and quite frankly, national security assets, like Kumuhina, will be left out of their room. Their knowledge, their experience, their leadership ignored because this administration chooses to use fear as its weapon and ignorance as its shield. They want transgender people, our ohana, to disappear. The bigots want you to make you feel small. They want you to be silent. But every one of us here and out there know we will not let them succeed. We will not go back into the shadows. Now is not the time to shrink away and hide. Now is the time to stand, to fight, to claim your space, not just for survival, but for joy, for dignity, and for a future where no child, my child, your child, all of our children, no matter who they are, where they live, how they identify, should ever have to wonder if they belong. Because they do. We all do. We all belong. We are truly what makes this country great, and none of us are going anywhere. No law, no policy, no coward in power can take this away from us. This is our moment. This is our time. Rise up, resist, and let no one, my friends, no one forget that trans rights are human rights. Mahalo. It is now my pleasure to exist, my United States Senator, a good friend, a lifelong champion for human rights, Brian Schatz. Put your hands together for him.
Thank you, Jill Tokuda. Thank you so much. By the way, today is a very important day.
Look at the sign language guy.
Because
this is
it
the new
is
sign
all
language
about
guy.
making clear
That's exciting.
that trans people have a right to live freely, just like everybody else. It's about a very basic idea that everyone is already in possession of and deserves dignity. That everybody is a child of God, and that in this country, everybody has a right to be left alone. Now, what is more American than the belief that people get to live the life that they want so long as it's not hurting anybody? This is what this is about. Leave people alone. Donald Trump and his administration are waging an assault on trans people like never before. The ability to travel freely, the ability to get health care, the ability to work in the private sector or for the United States military, it's all under attack. They are literally searching lists of federal programs for the word gender to cut essential services that support trans people and other communities.
Oh, I hope so.
But here's the thing. This stuff only works if we don't fight back.
I hope so.
If you retreat in fear, and if the rest of us don't stand with you, that's not going to happen. We have your back today, tomorrow, and every day after that. We're going to keep fighting back against the attacks that infringe on your fundamental freedoms. There is nothing more fundamental enshrined in the Constitution of the United States of America that everybody gets to live their lives how they want. We've fought hard fights in this country before. Civil rights, women's voting rights, marriage equality. And it can feel depressing or overwhelming, and the trajectory of progress is often terrible. We make a little progress, we lose a lot of progress. We make a little progress, we lose a lot of progress. That's where we are right now. We're in one of those moments where people are honest to goodness terrified for themselves, for their communities, for their families, for their coworkers, for their friends, for their very country. But I want you to know that we are in this fight with you. We are in this fight for you, and we understand that trans rights are human rights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Schatz. I am now honored to introduce a steadfast champion of trans people.
Hang on. Misty, I've let this go with the ranting in the chat, but this is not productive. It's not productive. I need you to just hinge into reality and to calm down. We don't do this owning the lib shitposting bullshit in this chat because it drives me insane. It accomplishes nothing. It doesn't reflect an understanding of what's going on. If you have questions about what's going on, you can ask what's going on, but I would really just like this to stop because this has nothing to do with troon anything, and I've seen the word troon come from you like several times in my chat now, and it's just not, it's not. Your conservative talking points are not reality. So please just hinge into reality for me. I would appreciate it.
People who has stood with us for years and will stand with us, will vote even when he's the only one in defense of trans folks from Massachusetts and Boston down to DC. Please welcome Senator Ed Markey.
This will probably be the last one we watch, guys. Oh, Ed Markey.
Thank you all so much. I'm Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts. Thank you for having me here today. Let me begin by saying loud and clear, trans rights are human rights.
Stunning and brave.
We know this.
Stunning
and we know this is in the face of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Republicans' relentless campaign against transgender Americans. We have seen transgender Americans banned from the military, denied life-saving, gender-affirming care. Trump and Musk and Republicans are wrong, and they are wrong for telling you who you are and who you can be. They are wrong for using money for health care and education as a tool for discrimination. And they are wrong for fighting so hard to take away your freedom. The Trump administration may try to use trans people to attack Americans' basic rights and freedoms, but they will never win. They cannot keep people from being who they are. Transgender and non-binary people will continue to exist, and I will keep fighting with you. But they are going to keep fighting to intimidate and threaten trans people, their families, and their providers, because hate and fear is easier than the fight for freedom, equity, and justice for every American. Growing up, I was taught that you can't beg for your rights. You organize and you take them. And we are here today to take those rights. Thank you for being here. We are here to organize and fight for trans rights, for health care and freedom and liberation. Your visibility shows them. Republicans will never take your existence from you. And while they fight to take your freedom, your visibility, and your joy away, I will stand with you. That is why I am fighting to pass my Trans Bill of Rights, which I've introduced into the United States Senate. This resolution recognizes that the federal government has a duty to guarantee trans rights and ensure access to health care, to housing, to safety, to economic security. Freedom is not inevitable. It is fought for by people who say no in the face of discrimination, no in the face of invasive laws that seek to limit what health care you can get, and no to the anti-justice and anti-freedom agenda driving attacks on trans people. I am proud to stand with you today and every day, to organize and to fight, because trans rights are human rights. I love you. Thank you.
Well, listen, guys, you know me. I would sit here and watch this stuff all day, but sadly, we have a schedule to keep, and so I don't have any more time to watch any more speeches today, but we might keep an eye on it and see if we need to come back and watch a little bit more later this week, because we are going into our community supporter call. We do community supporter calls every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. These calls are private. These calls are unrecorded. You can come and hang out. We hang out for a couple hours. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. You can ask me questions. You can ask the group questions. You can meet other people in the community. If you want to get access to those calls, and I definitely recommend, especially if you're a supporter already, definitely drop by. I would love to meet you guys. Head over to my Substack. That is Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. And what you need to do is go to the digest email. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. And underneath this red box, you will find the Zoom link for the supporter call. You will also find access to the supporter Discord. You will also find a 10% off discount code in the Unwoke Art Store. You will also find any other perks that you might have coming to you that week. That is in the weekly digest newsletter that goes out every Sunday as part of my Substack, and you can sign up for $8 a month, $80 a year to get access to that. Also, as a reminder, MacB will be showing heavy metal tonight in the supporter Discord around 9 p.m. So we do movie nights on Sunday and Monday now. So come join us for a movie in the supporter Discord. It's a fun time. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. No, they're not. No, they're not. First of all, Bolsheviks and communists are the same thing. Secondly, the people we were just watching are not Bolsheviks or communists. I recommend you come back, watch more of my content. You will be able to understand the difference very, very, very clearly. But no, the people we were watching today were not communists. They were somewhere between progressives and democratic socialists, but they are absolutely not communists. Anyway, that's all we have for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.